Let's do it. Let's kick it in. Let's get into the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming back for a Thursday night edition. I'm sorry we're a little bit late over here. I assure you it was not myself. Let me welcome my co-host, my guest, your Player Association Union representative himself, Joe Lozier. Joe, thanks for taking the stage.
Hey, thanks for having me. Pardon me.
You're welcome, man. Joe, would you mind introducing our sponsors?
Our sponsors are all of you who like and subscribe, Like, subscribe. Thank you, sponsors. And then eventually, once enough of you like and subscribe, then our unofficial sponsor, Fireball, will become our official sponsor, the Kiss of the Devil, Fireball.
You do the ad reads from now on. That was terrific. That was a terrific promo. You absolutely do the ad reads from now on. Thank you. I will kiss the devil, Joe. Thanks for bringing that in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Commissioner Week 14 Waiver and 3 Ps show. I do not have a title for this one just yet. Hopefully we'll find one in the episode. Reminder, I have swept Daniel for the season. He is... Mason, can you do me a favor? Can you switch lights?
On-air production meeting.
That's
Mason!
It.
Shout out
Mason! Shout out Mason back there, my producer. There you go. Or actually...
Lighting executive.
No, keep it off, bro. Keep it off. There you go. That's good.
Beautiful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Problems on set. Did you pick up a kicker yet?
Negative.
10-4. Roger that. We're going right into the waiver wires.
Will you please let him know that he needs to pick up a kicker this week?
Yeah, you need to pick up a kicker this week.
Who is my kicker?
He's not playing.
Who is my kicker?
You can have 2 kickers like you have 2 defenses, bro. You can drop your defense and you pick up the second kicker.
Who?
That's the other side of the pillow. That's fine. He'll do that later, ladies and gentlemen. If he doesn't, I will see to it that happens. I promise you. So the only waivers other than Mason desperately needing a kicker was me. I went ahead and picked up James Cook, younger brother to Dalvin Cook. He did not go to Florida State like his brother. He went to an SEC school like a man. I dropped Kadarius Toney, who also went to an SEC school, the better one in Florida. This hurt me to do, Joe, but I need to stack up on running backs. I don't see Nick Chubb getting injured, so I can't release Kareem Hunt. But the minute I do, Nick Chubb will get injured.
No, that's fair. Totally.
Yeah.
So,
previews, predictions, and pretentiousness, man. Joe Lozier, first matchup of the week, we have the Dirty Randys, the dirtiest of the Randys. 3-10, 8th place. Keep them out of libraries. Don't give them a severance package. Versus the Boner Pills, 7-6, currently in 5th place. Last matchup was won by Mason. Huge upset there. 118-74 to 107-68. That was Mason's first win of the year. John at the time was 4-2. So Mason was 0-6. John was 4-2. Huge upset. Playoff watch for this one, Joe. If John loses, he can ruin his chance of making the playoffs. He's currently the 5th seed. He will not obliterate his chances, but he will definitely ruin them. And that's a hard fall from somebody that won the championship last year. It's like the Rams.
man. Fun fact. Here's a stat of the day.
Stat of the day. Let's go.
Team to win the Super Bowl and follow up the next season with a below 500 record would be?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Rams. If they continue. Yep. No, don't remind me, Joe. That's a stat I know too fondly. That was the downfall of a decade plus of misery.
Yeah, we ended up Dirk Cutter and Greg Sheehan.
Lovie Smith. Yeah. Mage factors in this one. Mason, I have Tony Pollard going against Houston. Everybody and their mother is running through Houston. My grandma with 2 artificial knees could probably get a tall, 50 yards in that game. Joe Mixon, back from his injury. This is big for you. You've been kind of down without Mixon. I think this is going to be huge. No idea why you didn't pick up Samaje Perine. We're still learning, though. Your third year in the league, we're still learning. One thought to start, Mason, a kicker. John, Captain Kirk, going against Tennessee. I would actually start him over Singletary, who's going against the New York Jets. Singletary starting to lose touches. He's also going against a very, very good defense. So, yeah. Makes sense, right? And also, Tennessee is the worst pass defense in the league at number 32.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
And the Bills will be passing to James. I feel like it'll, because they can't run the ball against the Jets front, they'll be passing to the running backs more.
Joe, do you think if Kenneth Walker cannot go this week, do you think James Cook could be a viable starting option?
Untrustworthy, potential boom, but also a very potential low floor.
Fair, Joe. Fair.
A very, very big window here.
Yes, very big. Buys this week, Mason has Kamara, Koo, and Olave, and Brian Robinson, gunshot survivor. Jonathan, you have Cole Comet, you have Chase Mapletron Claypool, and you have Khalil Herbert. Why do you have 3 Bears on your team? It's disgusting. What? There's 5 Bears that are rostered in our league. 3 of them are by John, and 2 of them are by Daniel. What? That explains why you guys are fighting for playoff spots and not one of the 8-win teams right now. Just let me state that. Joe. We preview this segment. We have pretensified this segment, especially on my end. That means it's time for the predictions. Joe, who do you have in this one?
Oh, Mason all day. You know why?
Oh, shit. Mason upset?
Because John needs to go down.
Oh, you need him to.
More to come.
I hope you explain that, elaborate more on that later. You're going to take Mason. Well, Joe, we're going to start out this show guns a-blazing. I'm taking John in this. Sorry, Mason. I think John's going to come through. I think he's going to push this one. I think he knows his playoff stakes are alive. I'll just leave it there. Joe, I want him to lose for you, but I would rather you beat him next week, which we'll get into. We'll get into that, bro. Next matchup. Joe, it's been so long since I haven't played in a 4 o'clock game or America's Fantasy Football game of the week of the century game. But here I am in the 1 o'clock games because I am smooth sailing from here on out. I am on the chase to the Hurts, 9-4, first place on a 3-game winning streak, going against the Action Jacksons. They are 4-9, inverse of our records, by the way.
Oh.
One's 10-4, one's 4-9. You like that, Joe? You like that? Patterns. He's in 7th place. Last matchup was won by Clay with a score of 157.99 to 89.23. I almost doubled up on him. Yeah. Playoff watch. Clay wins this one, guarantees himself first seed in the playoffs, which is huge. Absolutely huge. I get to play one of the 4 seeds, which is potentially going to be Joe, John, or dumbass Daniel. Daniel I swept. John could potentially be a problem, but I don't think so. Joe, you're the scariest threat of that group. But you're the furthest one looking in on the outside. Looking in.
Big binoculars right now.
Since the last matchup, Clay was 3-3 going into that game. Since that victory, I am 6-1. 6-1. That is hot at the right time, as hot as a Charizard flamethrower, ladies and gentlemen. Maze factors, I have King Henry against Jacksonville. There is something that is true and evident about life. It is death, taxes, and Derrick Henry will run for 200 yards against the Houston Texans and Jacksonville Jaguars at least 2 times a year. Those are truths that we know evident. Mahendra, Garrett Wilson at Buffalo. And the reason being, Joe Lozier, he is averaging 25 per game with Mike White as his quarterback.
Yo, him and Mike White?
Imagine if they would have drafted some other skill position at that third or second overall draft pick. Imagine the team they would have had. Mike White would have been number 1 seed in the AFC this year. One thought to start, I'm on the chase, is going with we straight, bro. We good, dog. We got our lineup in, man. There's nobody I want to start. If Kenneth Walker goes down, we'll reassess, but I have options. I have John the Terminator, James Conner winning in the wings. I have Najee Harris, who since the trade with John, I'm not sure anybody has noticed, has actually had the best games of his season. New scenery, new team, new owner. I love them all, Joe. Give them all my love. I treat them right. I talk to them well. With that being said, there is no buys for Clay. 0.0. Mahendra, Scary Terry is on a bye week for you. Joe.
I got you.
I tell you, it doesn't bring me a lot of joy to write my name in here against this opponent, but it brings me a lot of joy. I am going to give Mahendra the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to go Clay. There we go. Predictions we agree on. Our first predictions we agree on. That's terrific. And that leads us to the 4 o'clock games brought to you by our unofficial sponsor,
Fireball.
That would be, and this was so hard not to make the game of the week. So hard.
I understand.
Yep. I think I thank you. Thank you for seeing it. Honestly, Joe, I get this can change in 2 weeks. If you were the 5th seed, this would have been the game of the week.
Again.
But with the 60. I'm sorry, I shouldn't bring it up. Hillier Hole, 8-5, second place in the league, going against Allergic to playoff, 6-7 and 6th place. Last matchup, Andrew obliterated Joe. Obliterated. I'm surprised he's still standing here in front of you as the man he is. 185.
I'm actually sitting down.
Yeah, no, you need to. You need to hold on to the table like Putin does.
From week 7, I'm still sitting here. Continue.
185 to 108. Playoff watch. Andrew clinches a playoff berth with the win. Joe, with the win, keeps his playoff hopes alive. With the loss, it's all but over. We will dive deeper into that later. Or actually, Joe, if I'm not mistaken, I think we should dive into that now. I think you have prepared your playoff chances, Joe. Can you please speak on those?
I have. I even wrote down not nearly. Oh, hey, come back here.
Yep.
Not nearly as great as the preparation as your commissioner has done, but I did a little bit of research. Nothing like what the dedication that this man, the commish Clay, portrays twice a week, every week, on top of keeping up on his own fantasy team. Incredible. I'm pretty much effed, but
that's a good way to start this. I like that.
But there is some hope. Okay, I could win both games, right? I could beat number 2 Hillier Hole, and then beat. I'll get to that next week. There's only 2 weeks left before the playoffs, the fantasy football playoffs.
Well, it's this week and next week.
Exactly, and I go against Hillier Hole, and get to that. So I got to win out in order for John and Dan to. If either of them win both games, I'm out. Done. Over. If either of them win one game, I pretty much need to win out.
Wait, so you're saying there's a chance?
Oh, there's a chance. All right.
Okay. We're listening.
Raiders head coach.
Josh McDaniels.
Raiders owner.
Mark Davis.
I don't have the Mike
Captain
Davis.
Kangaroo.
I don't have the Mike Davis haircut, but you're telling me there's a chance. Okay. Was that? I'm gonna keep going.
That was good. That was good. I liked it.
Come on. All right. So, if I don't win out, then I need Dan or John to lose at least one game. Currently, I have a 21-point advantage on John. Meaning, if we end up with the same score, and let's just say we both score 130 points, which is the league average over the last 131 is the league average over the last 4 weeks. We both score the same amount. I take him in that tiebreaker. The only thing is, Dan started so hot, scored so many points that he has a 58-point advantage on me right now, as of right now. If the playoffs started today,
which they don't,
thank you, he would have the tiebreaker on me. But there's still 2 weeks left, which leads us to this week, right? I'm going against number 2, Fill Your Hole. Dominant, really.
Second best team in the SEC.
Second best team in the league. Really. Call
True.
it what it is. Okay? John is going against the number 8 team this week. Please get a backup kicker. Please. Damn, though, going against the number 3 team. All right? So we got a little, we'll get to that later.
Who's his kicker, though, bro? You heard him.
Next week? Who's the kicker?
No, Kuz, his kicker. You heard Mason. You heard what he said.
Oh.
The man has 2 defenses on his roster, but is so sentimental to Kuz.
They said next week, right? The last week before the fantasy playoffs, Dan is going against the number 7 seed, Action Jacksons. But the real kicker, where all the marbles hopefully fall down. I hope next week there will still be marbles to fall. Joe goes against John. That is a matchup. That is definitely going to be America's something.
Fantasy football game of the week of the century game. Only if you win this week, Joe, which we will.
Got to win.
Now, beautiful segment right there, talking about playoff chances. I love the stats that you broke down. Very beautiful, very eloquently put. You, sir, round of applause. That is terrific. And I think everybody on YouTube is giving you a round of applause. If you like that speech, leave a like. That was terrific. We're going to provide you those, ladies and gentlemen, that in-depth breakdown to our fantasy league that is irrelevant to all of you. That means a lot to us.
Thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you for contributing, sir. I love that. That was absolutely great. Mage Factors, Andrew, Josh Jacobs. Andrew is a big guy on primetime games, Thursday games and Monday night games. He always thinks a guy's going to show out for him. Well, buddy, I'm going to make my Mage Factor a guy that's playing tonight, right now as we speak. I've not got an update on that, how he's doing. But that is your Mage Factor today, going against the Los Angeles Rams, banged up Los Angeles Rams team. Joe, your Mage Factor.
Tell me.
Travis, what a Etienne. He, older brother to Trevor Etienne, who ran all over the Florida State Seminoles, even though we lost that game.
News, bro. Don't even. No, time out.
When he's going, your team is going.
You can't just throw fake news like that out.
We're not a college football podcast, so.
You're right.
We'll move on. One thought to start in this one, Andrew, and I know this sounds crazy, but hear me out. Zeke over Barkley, okay? Joe might consider me crazy here, but listen to this. Barkley's going against Philly's run defense, who Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, plus they got their rookie Jordan Davis back. That run defense is don't be sleeping on Suh, bro. You wish we had Suh in that locker room right now. Yeah. How's Willie Golston looking for us? Well, he's a Walter Payton Man of the Year award nominee. 0 sacks. Good for him. So the Phillies defense is also coming off of stopping Derrick Henry last week, ladies and gentlemen. Put the clamps on King Henry. Didn't make him King Henry, made him generic Henry. Only 5 points. And the Packers running backs the week before that didn't have all that great of a game, if I'm not mistaken.
The Panthers
are trash. Packers. I said Packers.
Oh, no. Aaron Jones's predecessor.
A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, he went off. He had over 100.
Oh, okay. My bad. So thank you for that. Thank you for backing that up. Just saying, though, I would do Zeke here. I would do Zeke.
Who's Zeke playing against?
Houston. And that's also why you should play Zeke over Barkley. Okay? There's multiple reasons to do it. Again, ridiculous. Joe, I think you have your best team out there, so you straight.
Question.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Question. What's your take on starting AJ Brown and Devontae Smith?
It's a ballsy move, Cotton, but the first time you did it, it got you 50 points. The Philadelphia offense doesn't have Dallas Goedert anymore. Their running backs aren't necessarily pass catchers, minus Kenneth Gainwell, who plays 20 snaps a game.
Maybe. I was going to say 10.
Maybe. And most of the time when Jalen Hurts dumps it off, he's running for 6 yards. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
But you have Quez Watkins, who's a fine slot receiver, a speedster, who has a connection with Hurts. Not the most fantasy prevalent. So I think you starting the top two options in this Philly offense, who Philadelphia is probably the best team in the NFL playing right now. I think that's a wise move. I think your floor would be 35 points starting both of them. And 17.5 for two players is a good floor to have.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Buys this week, Andrew, you have Curtis Samuel and Michael Pittman, and the NFLFantasyFootball.com does not list Junior behind his name, but I like to put respect on his old man's name, who's won a Super Bowl and is actually a good football player. So I call him Michael Pittman Jr. until he's earned. Joe, Cordell Patterson, Allen, the Lizard King, Lazard, and Jonathan Taylor, you're disappointing first overall. If you had to redo it, you probably would have went CMC, right? Because it would have been better than Taylor.
I probably would have gone realistically, because I still, even though he technically has the most points and run out of wide receivers, I probably would have gone
Cooper Kupp.
I would have gone Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. I was on the Cup train.
So when you found out you had the first overall draft pick, you were sold on Jonathan. No, that was it.
That was it.
Okay.
Done.
Well, Joe, we listed the buys. I'm going to tell you who I have in this matchup.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this.
Oh, yes, because I purposely left this blank.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Woo!
I have first.
Huh?
Can
you want to go first?
Let's just let this build up even more so.
Oh, absolutely. You go first.
Well, of course I got me. I have to have me. I have to win out. Have to. I don't have to win out. Actually, technically, if I don't win, there is still the chance goes from here to here, and I know what both of these feel like. Okay? So I got me. We're going to win. We're going to be up here. Look, can't even see me on the screen. That's how big I am. Massive.
Huge.
Massive.
Joe.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor is not playing this week, so I think you have a huge advantage. I think you are going to fight for your life for a playoff opportunity. I think you are going to do nothing but your best and everything. With that being said, I have Andrew. Based off the last matchup, and my heart wants to go with you, bro. My heart wants to go with you, okay? But you have beat me in predictions for the past 3 weeks in a row. So here is my chance. Here is my shot. If sentimentally, it's you, bro. I want you to know that. Sentimentally, it's you. I have my full support behind you. If I was just putting money, I would just be a safer bet doing it.
I'm going to take a shot to our unofficial sponsor, Fireball.
Take a shot to me picking you, buddy. You got the upset. I know what Vegas says. I don't care about underdogs. I don't care about overdogs. I think Joe is on the up and up. I think he is on the come up. I think this is his time to shine. His roster is fully positioned. This is a man, mind you, who I think out of anybody in the league focuses more on picking playoff time players than anybody else. And what I mean by that is I think he actually thinks fully consciously of playoff time of when he selects, when he adds players. Joe, you have the win in this one, sir.
Did you actually write that down as me before? Or did you just change your mind?
I faked everybody out. I didn't even write anything else but Joe. I faked you with the writing. There it is. That leads us in to America's
Fantasy
football
game
of
the
week
of
the
century
game. Oh. What we've all been looking for. Jakey, thank you for seeing there, by the way. The work on that. That was clutch. That was clutch.
Dude, those notes. Let's go.
Good. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, 8-5 in third place. He is currently on a 5-game winning streak. You heard that correctly. He was 3-5 6 weeks ago.
Before you traded me.
Yep. Versus the fake fantasy messiahs, 7-6. Gay fake. Fourth place. He is currently on a 4-game losing streak, ladies and gentlemen. 4 games. This man was 5-0 when he faced me, has since gone 2-6. Mason has a better record in that span. Mason! Last matchup, Fantasy Messiah eked out this win, 115-52 to 103-43. I believe this was when Tuna was still starting both the Packers running backs and instead traded DeAndre Swift and picked up Jamal Williams, who has 14 touchdowns on the season. Absolutely insane. Joe, you really benefited Tuna's team because you gave him another option other than A.J. Dillon. If you would have not made that trade, just him starting A.J. Dillon and everything, he might not be in the position he is in. Yeah. Right there. Hindsight's 2020, baby. Since that game, Tuna has went 5-1, and Daniel, aforementioned, has gone
2-6.
Yeah, 2-6. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much for that.
To be fair, hindsight, that was
No. I'm sorry. That last game. No, you're right. He's been 2-6 since he faced me. But since the last matchup against Tuna, he has gone 1-5. Because he was 6-1 after losing to me. I could be off on this, ladies and gentlemen. Does my math add up here? Yeah, week 13. That would equal 13. So he's gone even worse than I said before, Joe, when you break it down into quadrants like that. Playoff watch, Tuna clinches playoff berth with a win and John loss. That's pretty good, Tuna. Congratulations. Doubted you from the beginning. Daniel with a win would realistically clinch a playoff berth due to having the third highest tiebreaker. But as was so pointed out earlier eloquently by Joe, that tiebreaker is in jeopardy to falling. A loss in this one, Daniel, you will fall out of the top 4 potentially. But I don't see you making it back with a loss. If you lose this week, you're practically out. Because somebody's winning next week against John and Joe. They're both winning this week. And whoever wins that game is going above you, buddy. Promise.
Ooh, that was like, what's the movie where they go into so many different dimensions and so many different things? Inception?
Yes. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness?
I was trying to think of like all these different angles and inceptions, but you're so right. One of us is going to win today, this week, and next week.
Yeah. And whoever does that will be in the final 4th and playoff spot, I guarantee you. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I think you run your course.
It's over. Mage factors in this one, Tuna, Justin Jefferson against Detroit. You may be thinking because he's a great wide receiver, you would have took him first overall, but it's actually because his last game against Detroit was the lowest point total of the year for Justin Jefferson at 2.9. If the Lions can replicate that success again, Dan's chances of winning have gone up potentially. Daniel, Lenny Fournette against San Francisco, who has the #1 defense. Lenny Fournette is splitting reps with Rachaad White currently. I think it's
Start him. Start
Rachaad White, please. Start Rachaad White. Somebody who can bounce outside instead of running behind guards. Just in the back line him.
Fantasy Messiah. Start Leonard Fournette. Start him.
He is starting him.
Good.
Yes. One thought to start. Tuna. DeAndre Swift, if healthy. He looked good last week. He performed better than Jamal Williams on points total wise, and I think he's going to do that again this week if healthy. Monitored, of course. It's just a thought to start. THOT. Daniel, I have Deebo Samuel over Michael Carter. You're starting Michael Carter going against the Buffalo Bills defense. Deebo Samuel going against a good Bucs defense. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, but still, I think with some runs and stuff.
I agree.
You know, I didn't want to say it, but it would be a thought. Buys this week, Tuna, you have A.A. Jones, you have A.J. Dillon, you have Antonio Gibson. I promise you there's not another first name that starts with A in this group. Christian Watson is your last member. Daniel, David Montgomery and Justin Fields, 2 Bears players. Maybe that's why you're falling out of the playoffs. Woo! That being said, Joe Lozier, who's your predictions in this?
Oh, Tuna all day. Let's go, Tuna. Finish strong, Tuna. Finish strong. I'll see you in the playoffs. Actually, I'll see Clay in the playoffs. And then maybe, hopefully, I see you in the playoffs. I will see Andrew in the playoffs. I just hope I make the playoffs.
You will, buddy. You'll face me on the first seed.
Playoffs?
You'll face me. Playoffs! So you got Tuna. Do you know who I'm going with, Joe?
Oh, you're going with Fantasy Messiah.
I'm going with a former league champion. I'm going with a man.
Who time?
You're right. I'm going with a man I don't necessarily like, but respect. I'm going against a man who I can hang out with and have a good time, have a beer with.
Oh, okay. You're going. Yeah.
I'm going for a man who roots for the Bay. I'm going for a man who has a good quarterback on his team.
You just
who has a Super Bowl and an MVP winner on his team that he watches. I'm going with Tuna. I'm going with Tuna. Give me the business.
Oh, the Bay!
You're out of here. You're out of here, Daniel.
You got me with the Bay. That was great. That was.
Bye-bye. Tuna's got you, bro. That's been the script. That's been the script. I flipped it. I did it. Unofficial sponsor Fireball.
Hey, Fireball. Like and subscribe.
Joe, as always, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Do you have any final saying for 1, your matchup, and 2, your potential prospect on this series?
You're telling me there's a chance.
There is always a chance, my friend. And with that being said, yep. Always, we're going to listen to a little commercial here. I got to get back. I had it perfect, but we stopped the phone. We don't need outro music, really, though, do we?
Whoa.
No, we don't. We're out of here. We're going to cut it. What do you expect from us, ladies and gentlemen? We're here. I'm Clay. This has been Joe. Thank you for watching us. Like and subscribe. Until next Tuesday. Bye-bye.